Hi, I'm Christine. I was not planning on doing a video like this today. I wanted to have my ducks more in a row before I sat down to take something like this on. It's been on my mind for like several weeks now to do some kind of video audio format for my blog, just to offer something different than just reading words on a screen. And in many ways, I don't feel ready to do this. However, today I feel very strongly that just that nudge, that push from the Holy Spirit to sit down and, ready or not, just sit here and do it. And so I've been researching ring lights and microphones and cameras and all of these things to try to, look professional, because that's what you're supposed to do. But there's nothing fancy about this today. There's nothing fancy about my setup. There's nothing fancy about my lighting. There's nothing fancy about me. This is just me sitting in front of my laptop and just trusting that the Holy Spirit has something here that I don't want to get in the way of. And so this is hard, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sometimes you just have to do things even if you're a little bit scared and you feel uncomfortable. So what I'm going to do is read the blog post that I posted yesterday. Today's April 8th, Friday, April 8th. Should I say that? You probably should say that in videos. But today's Friday, April 8th. And I posted a blog yesterday. It was number 35, and it was called What Chiari Did to My Faith. And my website, where my blog is christineagostinelli.com, and I will put the link in the description box below, and it will be there where you can read it. But for now, I'm just going to read it exactly how it is, how I posted it yesterday. And I just going to trust the Holy Spirit that He has something for somebody, for having an audio video version where you can see my face, know I'm a real person. So here we go. I'm just going to read it. Let me click over here. Okay, so again, this is blog number 35, and it's called What Chiari Did to My Faith. Health issues can be like gasoline on an already burning fire if your faith is starting to buckle. That is exactly what happened to me all those years ago when a fertility struggle unexpectedly walked into my life, jerry can in hand. Fuel met flame, and an inferno raged. However, strange as it may sound, that's not what happened this time around while dealing with Chiari malformation. This time, battling a health issue somehow has had the opposite effect. It's like the thing that should have reignited any last remaining smoldering embers from before managed to snuff them out instead. What should have torn open a wound that was just beginning to heal somehow stitched it back up instead. Let me explain what I mean. Back in the fall of 2020, my symptoms were getting worse, and I found myself needing to stop and step back from so many things in my life I enjoy doing. A side business, teaching art workshops, attending church on Sundays, any amount of screen time, reading books, cleaning the house, my way. I had to take a break from all of it. Writing was the one thing that was particularly hard for me to let go of. So many good things in my life felt like they were being stripped away from me. I felt like all I could do was lay on my couch and stare at the ceiling. Anything else would trigger awful dizziness and headaches. Some days I would be exhausted and frustrated. Other days I would just be downright angry about it. This should have been enough to reignite everything. However, there in the silence of my own house, day after day, with no distractions to preoccupy me now, is when I began to open up and start talking with God in a way I never had before. I literally had nothing else to do. I knew it, and God knew it too. I had the time, loads of time, and the quietness to talk to Him like I never had before. I was undistracted in a way I had never been before. So I would just lay there and talk to Him. Not like talking to a volleyball named Wilson, but like an actual conversation. The kind where you say something and then keep your mouth shut long enough to listen for a response back. I would cry out to Him with tears and ask Him, why? I would settle down and simply whisper, why? I would think about things I hadn't thought about in a long time. I would let my mind wander to hard things I usually avoided. Things about God or the faith that still bugged me and I would get hung up on. The questions I was still asking and doubts I still had. Pain I just couldn't quite get past. And lies disguised as truth I was still believing. Things like this were still lingering. Old wounds weren't quite healed. Hidden embers were still smoldering. And this is what God wanted me to deal with during this last season. It was a time to go down real deep, where it's real dark, and shine some light on things, and let real healing take place. It was a time of extended solitude, with just me and Him, to walk through the dark halls of my heart and open up rooms I had locked a long time ago. Although I didn't fully realize it at the time, something beautiful and profound was taking place. As the weeks and months passed of each day, feeling like a repeat of the day before, I could feel something changing inside of me. There was a new calmness, a new stillness that was slowly replacing all the restlessness. A feisty restlessness that was still hanging on from before, somewhere deep inside of me. Learning to live with a chronic health issue is definitely not easy. Some days are just really, really hard. I still have to say no to things I want to say yes to, and I have to keep a very loose grip on my expectations for what I'm able to get done in a day. However, if I hadn't been dealing with this over the last couple of years, I would not have experienced the healing and restoration a deep part of me still needed. A deep, deep settling has taken place, and I feel more connected now to the person I was meant to be than I ever have before. So, a thorn in my flesh? Perhaps. But it feels more like a divine bandage that's been placed on an old wound way down deep in my heart. Like holy sutures to close a wound that's been bleeding for a very, very long time.